Imagine grossing, say, $2 million over your entire working life, right? And then you hit age 50 with a net worth of exactly zero.
Oh, wow. I mean, it sounds completely absurd when you put it like that.
It really does. But mathematically, it's precisely what the average salary earner does. Welcome to the Wealthy Mind podcast, everyone. We spend decades on the treadmill, paying every bill, fulfilling every obligation, only to look up and realize we've basically just acted as a temporary conduit for money.
Right. Just a middleman passing cash from our employers to, various merchants and utility companies.
Exactly. So today, we are doing a deep dive into the mechanics of why that happens and, more importantly, how you can actually stop it.
It really is the ultimate financial paradox. And to dissect it, we're actually looking at a framework that dates way back to 1926. We are diving into George S. Clason's classic, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Which is just legendary in the finance world. But I want to assure you listening right now, we are not doing a dry chapter-by-chapter summary here.
No, definitely not. Nobody wants that.
Right. Instead, we are extracting only the most actionable, life-changing financial wisdom from these sources. Because beneath the ancient Babylonian setting, which, by the way, was the world's first real trading hub, this isn't actually a book about money at all.
No, it's really a book about human psychology.
Exactly. It's the ultimate blueprint for modern salary management, escaping debt, and achieving true financial freedom today. So let's just get right into it. According to the sources, what is the fundamental reason people fail to build wealth?
Well, the book presents a pretty harsh truth. It argues that people never find wealth because they don't actively seek it. They just spend everything they earn to gratify their immediate desires.
I mean, cognitive dissonance at its finest. People confuse the act of earning an income with the act of building wealth.
Right. The moment the paycheck hits, they pay the landlord, they pay the grocer, the streaming services, but they never actually secure any capital for themselves.
You're paying everyone else but keeping nothing. So you are essentially, a slave to your own expenses.
Precisely. Your labor is entirely spoken for by someone else's balance sheet. Which brings us to the foundational principle of the entire text. The book says, "Start thy purse to fattening."
Which is widely recognized today as the concept of paying yourself first.
Yes, the absolute golden rule. The idea is that regardless of your income bracket, you have to intercept a minimum of 10% of your earnings before a single other transaction occurs.
Okay, I have to push back on this a little bit on behalf of the listener, because if someone is already living paycheck to paycheck,
right,
and they are just drowning in debt, telling them to magically save 10% sounds honestly impossible.
Oh, I totally get that. It sounds like a math problem that just doesn't solve. But the sources actually provide a brilliant behavioral solution for this. We call it the 10-20-70 rule.
Okay, let's break that down, because I think this is the math people really need to hear.
So it works like this. You cap your essential living expenses at exactly 70% of your income. Rent, food, utilities, the basics.
Got it. 70% to survive.
Right. Then 20% goes aggressively toward paying down your debt.
Okay, so that tackles the creditors.
Exactly. And then that final 10%, that always goes to paying yourself first, even when you're in debt.
Wait, really? Because mathematically, wouldn't it make more sense to throw that 10% at a high-interest credit card? I mean, 20% APR compounding against you is brutal.
Mathematically, yes. Throwing everything at the debt minimizes the total interest. But behaviorally, it's a recipe for catastrophic burnout.
Oh, I see. Because you're just working to get back to zero.
Exactly. If you allocate 100% of your margin to debt repayment, you create this massive negative feedback loop. You have no liquidity. So the moment a minor emergency happens, like a flat tire or a random medical bill, what do? You
have to pull out the credit card again.
Right. You use debt again, which just completely shatters your psychological momentum.
It's basically the financial equivalent of a crash diet. You restrict everything, you see a tiny bit of progress, but the deprivation eventually just triggers a massive binge.
That is the perfect analogy, which is why the capital accumulation of that 10% provides the positive reinforcement you need to actually sustain the debt repayment over the long haul.
Okay, that makes so much sense. But operating on 70% of your income requires a pretty brutal lifestyle audit, doesn't it? We have to figure out the difference between needs and desires.
Oh, absolutely. And it's tough because we are constantly fighting Parkinson's law.
Right. The idea that our expenses will miraculously expand to consume our entire income unless we actively put a stop to it.
The hedonic treadmill is relentless. You get a raise, and suddenly your perfectly fine 5-year-old car feels totally inadequate. You get a bonus, and suddenly you require a larger apartment.
It's so true. The sources emphasize that necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes. But this is where I love the analogy from the text. We shouldn't view intercepting that 10% as a penalty or a sacrifice.
No, not at all.
It is quite literally rent paid to your future self.
I love that reframe. It changes the whole dynamic. But, this brings us to a critical pivot point in the Babylonian framework.
Okay, what's the pivot?
Well, if you successfully audit your lifestyle and you start accumulating that 10%, you eventually face a modern enemy that Arcad, he's the main protagonist of the parables, he never really had to deal with.
Let me guess. Fiat inflation.
You nailed it. In ancient Babylon, gold held its purchasing power pretty well. But today, if you just hoard that 10% in a standard bank account, inflation will silently erode it every single day.
Right, so we have to transition from just saving wealth to actively multiplying it.
Exactly. And the text introduces this concept of making your gold multiply. It frames every invested dollar as a tireless worker.
A tireless worker, I like that. So every dollar is basically an employee working for you 24/7.
Yes. Whether you are sleeping or on vacation, that dollar is out there laboring for you.
Which is the incredible power of compound interest. And there is this one specific, very memorable warning from the sources about this. It says, don't eat the children of your savings.
That's such a vivid phrase, isn't it? Don't eat the children of your savings.
It really is. So how do we translate that ancient advice into modern terms for the listener?
Well, let's say you earn 5% interest on a basic investment. You don't take that 5% and immediately spend it on clothes or leisure.
You don't eat the children.
Exactly. You reinvest that 5% so those children can start working for you as well. And eventually their children can work for you too.
It creates this massive snowball effect. And we should emphasize here, this isn't about finding the next crazy crypto moonshot, is it?
Not even a little bit. It's about boring, steady investments, things like low-cost S&P 500 index funds.
Ah, yes. The boring middle. We don't struggle with knowing what an index fund is. We struggle with the psychological pain of waiting for the compounding to actually happen.
Because for the first decade, the growth is agonizingly slow. The returns are based on a relatively small principal.
So what do people do? They get impatient. They abandon the proven routine and start looking for a shortcut.
And that impatience brings up the next major danger. Because once you start accumulating a nest egg, the temptation of get-rich-quick schemes becomes overwhelming.
Oh man, don't even get me started on the get-rich-quick schemes. This leads us directly into the law of protection, right?
Exactly. The sources are definitive on this. You must guard your principal against loss above all else.
This brings up my absolute favorite analogy from the book, the story of the brickmaker and the jewels.
Oh, it is such a classic. Walk us through that one.
Okay, so a character in the book finally saves up his gold, right? And he gives it all to a brickmaker who is traveling to a foreign land. The plan is for the brickmaker to buy rare jewels so they can sell them back home for a massive profit.
Which is just a hilariously terrible idea.
Completely. The brickmaker, who knows nothing about jewels, gets scammed with worthless pieces of colored glass, and the guy's entire life savings is just wiped out.
It seems so obvious in the story, but we do this constantly today.
We really do. I mean, would you go to a bread maker to learn about the stars? No. So why take financial advice from your broke uncle who has a quote-unquote hot stock tip?
It's so true. We rely on social proof instead of due diligence. And the key takeaway here is about seeking wise counsel.
Right, because advice is freely given, isn't it?
It is the most freely given commodity in the world. But you must only accept it from people who have a proven track record of success in that specific field. You have to protect your downside before you ever worry about your upside.
Protect the downside first. That is huge. Okay, let's pivot slightly to a psychological hurdle that I think trips up a lot of people. How often do we look at highly successful people and just assume they were, lucky?
Constantly. It's a very comforting defense mechanism.
It really is. If their success is just luck, then our lack of success isn't our fault. But the Babylonian framework introduces this concept of the goddess of good luck. And she doesn't operate the way most people think.
Not at all. The sources emphasize that luck is not found at the gaming tables or the horse races. Real luck is a very specific formula.
Which is what?
Luck equals preparation plus action.
Preparation plus action. I love that. But let's dig into the action part because the book talks about this concept of procrastination, and it describes it as a hungry demon.
A hungry demon that devours opportunity. It is such a powerful image.
It really hits home. I mean, how many times do we see a good deal or a great career opportunity and we just wait? We tell ourselves we're just doing more research, but really we're just feeding the hungry demon.
We let analysis paralysis take over. But the truth is, fortune favors those who are prepared and who act decisively when that good deal arises.
And speaking of preparation, that connects directly to the final cure, doesn't it? Increasing your earning ability.
Absolutely. It's about investing in yourself. We talked about saving 10% of your money, but you also need to dedicate 10% of your time, like just 15 minutes a day, to learning and building new skills.
Because more skills lead to a higher income.
Exactly. And a higher income provides massively more fuel for that saving and investing engine we built earlier.
It's an entire ecosystem that just feeds itself once you get it running.
It really is.
All right. This has been an incredibly powerful deep dive. To wrap things up, could you succinctly summarize the 7 cures for a lean purse for the listener to take away today?
I would love to. Okay, here they are. Number 1, pay yourself first. Save at least 10% of your income.
Essential.
Number 2, control your expenditures. Live on 70% if you are paying down debt. Number 3, make your money multiply. Invest it and let compound interest do the work.
Don't eat the children of your savings.
Exactly. Number 4, guard your wealth from loss. Avoid get-rich-quick schemes and seek expert advice. Number 5, make your dwelling a profitable investment. Build home equity when it makes financial sense.
Love it.
Number 6, ensure a future income. Protect your family with solid retirement planning and insurance. And finally, number 7, increase your ability to earn. Continuously learn, upskill, and invest in your own human capital.
Such a brilliant, timeless framework. And I want to leave you, the listener, with a final provocative thought from the book to really mull over this week.
Well, this is a good one.
True wealth is not the amount of coins you carry in your purse today. It is the golden stream of passive income you build that continually flows into your purse and keeps it bulging forever. But here's the friction point. If you automate all your savings and investments perfectly, do you risk losing your emotional connection to the value of money? Or is that detachment actually the ultimate definition of financial freedom?
That is a deep question.
When money stops being a daily emotional stressor and just becomes this quiet utility powering your life, maybe that is when you are truly rich.
Something to really think about.
Definitely. Well, I want to genuinely thank you all for listening to the Wealthy Mind podcast today. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and please leave a comment below sharing which of these ancient lessons impacted you the most today.
Yes, we absolutely love reading your takeaways in the comments.
We really do. So don't let the hungry demon of procrastination win today. Take action. And join us on the next episode of the Wealthy Mind podcast, where we will continue to explore timeless principles about wealth, investing, and the ultimate path to financial freedom. See you then.